Welcome to the channel The Coinlore Vault, where pocket change can secretly hide fortunes that most people throw away without a second thought. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1979, a coin you've probably handled hundreds of times, could be worth $3,500 right now? That's not a typo, that's the reality of one of the most sought-after error coins in American numismatic history. And here's the shocking part. It might be sitting in your change jar this very moment. The 1979 Lincoln penny looks absolutely ordinary at first glance. Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the standard copper composition that makes it feel like any other penny. But collectors know something the average person doesn't. Certain 1979 pennies carry a minting error so valuable that finding one could pay your rent for months. Now, before we dive deeper, let me tell you something incredible. This 1979 penny we're discussing has sold at auction for $3,500. And that's just the beginning, because we have two more pennies coming up that are worth even more, with values that will absolutely blow your mind. So you definitely want to stick around until the very end to discover which penny holds the crown. The story of the 1979 Lincoln penny begins at the United States Mint facilities, where millions upon millions of these coins were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And under normal circumstances, a 1979 penny is worth exactly 1 cent. Nothing more, nothing special, just standard pocket change that you'd use to buy candy or drop into a parking meter. But here's where things get fascinating. During the production process at certain mint facilities, a small number of pennies were struck with what collectors call a filled die error, which happens when grease, dirt, or metal debris fills the recessed areas of the die, causing parts of the design to appear weak, missing, or completely absent on the finished coin. The most valuable 1979 pennies are those with significant filled die errors affecting Lincoln's bust or the memorial columns, creating a ghostly, incomplete appearance that immediately catches a trained collector's eye. What makes this particular error so desirable isn't just its rarity, it's the visual drama of the mistake. Imagine holding a penny where Lincoln's face appears partially erased, or where the memorial columns look like they're fading into nothingness. It's the kind of error that makes you do a double take, that makes you think something went terribly wrong at the mint, and collectors absolutely love that uniqueness. And here's something most people don't realize. The value of these error coins has been steadily climbing over the past decade. What might have sold for a few $100s in 2010 is now commanding thousands. Because serious collectors understand that these errors are finite. Once they're lost to circulation damage or melted down, they're gone forever, making the surviving specimens increasingly precious. The authentication process for these valuable 1979 pennies involves sending your coin to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where experts examine it under high magnification, verify the error's authenticity, and assign it a grade based on its condition. And this is crucial because a 1979 filled die error penny in mint state condition, meaning it shows no wear from circulation, can command that premium $3,500 price tag, while a heavily worn example might only bring a few $100s. But here's where the treasure hunting really gets exciting. Most people who find these valuable errors discover them in the most ordinary places. Rolled coins from the bank, change from the grocery store, that old piggy bank in the attic that hasn't been opened since childhood, or even just carefully examining the pennies that accumulate in your car's cup holder. The key is knowing what to look for. You want to examine each 1979 penny carefully under good lighting, looking for any weakness in Lincoln's portrait details, any filled-in areas around the lettering, any unusual flatness to the memorial steps or columns, and if something looks off, if the coin appears different from other 1979 pennies, that's your signal to investigate further. Now, I want to pause here and remind you that the 1979 penny, as valuable as it is only the third most valuable coin we're covering today, because coming up next we have a 1985 Lincoln penny that's worth even more than this one, and after that we'll reveal a 1996 penny with a value that will absolutely shock you, so don't click away because the best is yet to come. The collecting community for these error pennies is passionate and well-connected, with forums, Facebook groups, and YouTube channels dedicated entirely to hunting and authenticating mint errors. And when a particularly spectacular 1979 error penny surfaces, word spreads quickly through these networks. with collectors competing to add it to their collections. What's truly remarkable is that new discoveries happen regularly. Just last year, a collector in Ohio found a spectacular 1979 filled die error penny in a roll of coins from their local bank, had it authenticated and graded, and sold it within weeks for over $3,000, turning a 1-cent investment into a life-changing windfall simply because they knew what to look for. The psychological thrill of error coin hunting is addictive. It transforms the mundane act of handling pocket change into a treasure hunt, where every penny becomes a potential lottery ticket, where that boring trip to the bank suddenly carries the excitement of a gold rush, and where your attention to detail could literally pay off in thousands of dollars. And here's something that really drives collectors wild. The 1979 filled die errors come in varying degrees of severity. Some show just slight weakness in a few letters or design elements, while others display dramatic, museum-worthy errors where entire portions of the design are missing, and naturally, the more dramatic and visible the error, the higher the premium collectors will pay. Professional numismatists recommend checking every single 1979 penny you encounter, and trust me, once you find your first error coin, even if it's a minor variety worth just a few dollars, you'll understand the rush that keeps collectors searching through thousands of coins hoping for that big score. The market for these error pennies has also been boosted by social media and YouTube, where viral videos of major discoveries inspire new generations of coin collectors, creating increased demand that drives prices even higher, and making right now the perfect time to start searching because awareness is growing but many valuable coins still remain undiscovered in circulation. Remember, finding a valuable error coin isn't about luck alone. It's about education, patience, and consistency. It's about training your eye to spot the subtle differences that separate a common coin from a rare treasure. And the beautiful thing is that unlike other collectibles that require massive upfront investment, error coin hunting can begin with whatever loose change you already have. But I need to remind you again, as amazing as this $3,500 penny is, we still have 2 more incredible pennies to cover, and the values just keep climbing from here. So make sure you're watching until the very end because the final penny we're revealing today has a value that will leave you speechless, and I promise you won't want to miss it. Next, 1985 Lincoln penny. And if you thought the 1979 penny was impressive, prepare yourself because this one takes the value even higher at a stunning $3,700. The 1985 Lincoln penny represents another fascinating chapter in American minting errors, and here's what makes this particular coin so special. During the production year of 1985, certain pennies were struck with what's known as a double die obverse error, where the design elements on the front of the coin were struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a doubled image that's visible under magnification, and in some cases, even visible to the naked eye. This doubling effect can appear on Lincoln's profile, the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." And when this error is particularly strong and well-preserved, collectors go absolutely crazy for it, pushing values into the thousands of dollars for a coin that most people would spend without hesitation. The 1985 penny is particularly interesting from a historical perspective because this was a transitional period for American coinage. The mint was modernizing its equipment and processes, which ironically sometimes led to more errors rather than fewer, as new machinery was calibrated and older dies were pushed beyond their optimal lifespan. Now, what really sets the $3,700 examples apart from common 1985 pennies is the combination of error severity and preservation quality. You need both strong, dramatic doubling that's immediately apparent to collectors, and you need the coin to be in excellent condition, preferably uncirculated with that original mint luster still intact, showing no wear from handling or time spent in circulation. The authentication process for these double die pennies is absolutely critical because there are many coins with minor machine doubling or die deterioration doubling that might look similar to the untrained eye but are worth only face value, which is why serious collectors always insist on third-party grading from PCGS or NGC before paying premium prices. What makes the hunt for 1985 era pennies so exciting is that they were struck at multiple mint facilities, including Philadelphia, which produces coins without a mint mark, and Denver, which adds a small D below the date, and valuable errors exist from both facilities, meaning you have multiple varieties to search for and collect. The discovery stories surrounding these valuable 1985 pennies are legendary in the collecting community. There's the famous case of a teenager who found a spectacular double-die 1985 penny in their grandmother's coin collection in 2018, had it professionally graded, and used the $3,500 sale proceeds to help pay for college, transforming a forgotten family heirloom into educational opportunity. And here's something really important to understand about double die errors. They're created during the die-making process itself, before the die ever touches a blank planchet to strike a coin, which means that potentially hundreds or even thousands of coins could be struck from a single double die before the error is discovered and the die is removed from service. But the reality is that most of those coins have been lost to circulation, spending, or destruction over the decades, making the survivors increasingly rare and valuable. When you're searching for these 1985 treasures, you want to pay special attention to the date and the word liberty, as these are the areas where doubling is most commonly visible. Look for what appears to be a shadow or second image slightly offset from the primary design, creating a notched or thickened appearance to the letters and numbers. The grading scale for these coins runs from poor P1 all the way up to perfect mint state MS70. And the difference in value between grades can be dramatic. A 1985 double die penny in average circulated condition might bring a few $100s, while that same error in MS65 or higher condition can command the full $3,700 or even more if multiple collectors compete for it at auction. Professional coin dealers and error specialists often spend years building relationships with collectors who found these treasures decades ago, trying to convince them to sell so the coins can be properly preserved and appreciated by the numismatic community. Because sadly, many valuable error coins sit forgotten in jars, drawers, or old collections, their owners completely unaware of what they possess. The online marketplace has revolutionized the buying and selling of error coins like the 1985 double die penny. Platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and specialty coin forums connect buyers and sellers globally, creating competitive bidding environments that often push prices higher than traditional retail would support. And this means that if you discover one of these valuable pennies, you have multiple options for converting it into cash quickly. But here's the thing that really keeps collectors coming back to error penny hunting. It's not just about the money, though that's certainly exciting. It's about the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of finding something that thousands of other people missed, the pride of building a collection that represents your dedication and knowledge, and the connection to history that comes from holding a coin that witnessed decades of American life. The 1985 penny was circulating during the mid-1980s, a time of significant cultural and economic change in America. These coins might have bought candy at corner stores, been tossed into arcade machines, dropped into children's piggy banks, or used in millions of everyday transactions, and the thought that such an ordinary object could be hiding extraordinary value captures the imagination in a way few other hobbies can match. What's particularly encouraging for new collectors is that finding valuable error coins doesn't require expensive equipment to get started. A decent magnifying glass, good lighting, and educated eyes are enough to spot major errors, though serious collectors eventually invest in loupes, microscopes, and digital USB microscopes for detailed examination. The educational aspect of error coin collecting is substantial. You'll learn about mint processes, die creation, striking pressures, metal flow characteristics, and the countless ways that mechanical processes can create varieties and errors, transforming you from a casual observer into a knowledgeable numismatist. And speaking of knowledge, I want to remind you that we still have one more penny to reveal, and it's the most valuable of all three coins we're covering today. The 1996 Lincoln penny with a value that surpasses both the 1979 and this 1985 penny. So stay with me because you won't believe what this final coin is worth. The community aspect of error coin collecting really enhances the experience. Joining online forums and local coin clubs connects you with experienced collectors who freely share their knowledge, help you authenticate potential finds, celebrate your discoveries, and commiserate when that promising coin turns out to be just post-mint damage rather than a genuine error. Timing in the error coin market can significantly impact values. When a particularly rare error gains attention through social media or major auction results, prices can spike dramatically as collectors rush to add examples to their collections, making early discovery and authentication potentially very profitable. The preservation of these valuable 1985 pennies is crucial once you've identified one. Store it in proper holders designed for coins. Avoid touching the surfaces with bare fingers, which can leave oils and contaminants, and keep it in a stable environment away from extreme temperatures and humidity that can cause deterioration over time, because maintaining that premium grade directly translates to maintaining that premium value. Next, 1996 D. Lincoln Penny. And this is it. This is the coin we've been building toward. The absolute crown jewel of today's video, with an incredible value of $4,300. This isn't just any penny. This is a numismatic superstar that represents one of the most dramatic and visually stunning errors in modern American coinage. And when I tell you what makes this coin so valuable, you're going to immediately start checking every 1996 penny you can find. The 1996 D. Lincoln Penny, minted at the Denver facility as indicated by the small D mint mark below the date, occasionally exhibits what's known as a wide AM variety, referring to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin. And while this might sound like a minor detail, trust me when I say that this tiny difference has created a collecting frenzy that's lasted for decades. Here's why this error is so significant. In the standard 1996 D penny design, the letters A and M in America are supposed to touch or nearly touch at their bases, creating what collectors call a close AM spacing. But on certain pennies, an earlier die design was accidentally used, creating a wide AM spacing where there's a clear, visible gap between the two letters, and this wasn't supposed to happen on 1996 Denver pennies at all, making it a genuine mistake that the mint tried to correct. Once discovered, the value of the 1996 D wide AM penny has grown exponentially over the years, from a few $100s in the early 2000s when the variety was first gaining recognition, to the stunning $4,300 that top-grade examples now command. And the trajectory suggests that values will continue climbing as more collectors enter the market and competition for premium examples intensifies. What makes this particular error so appealing to collectors is its accessibility. You don't need expensive equipment to spot it. A simple magnifying glass or even good eyesight is enough to see whether the AM letters are touching or separated, which means that anyone can search for this variety, making it perfect for beginners while still being valuable enough to excite advanced collectors. The historical context of the 1996 D wide AM penny adds another layer of intrigue. This error occurred during a period when the US Mint was transitioning between different reverse die designs, and somehow a handful of dies with the older wide AM spacing, which was standard before 1993, ended up being used to strike 1996 D pennies, creating coins that are technically incorrect for their year and mint mark combination. Discovery stories for the 1996 D wide AM penny are absolutely legendary. There's the collector who found one in a bank roll in 2005 and sold it for $1,800, then kicked themselves when values doubled within 5 years. There's the metal detector enthusiast who found one in the dirt at a park and had no idea what they had until a coin shop owner's eyes nearly popped out of their head. And there's the inheritance story where someone discovered their late grandfather's coin collection contained not one but three 1996 D wide AM pennies that sold for a combined total of over $11,000. The grading premium for this variety is substantial. A 1996 D wide AM penny in lower circulated grades like good or very fine might bring $100 to $500 depending on condition and market demand. But as you move up the grading scale into the mint state levels, values accelerate rapidly, with MS 65 examples bringing around $2,000 to $3,000, and those rare MS-67 or higher specimens commanding the full $4,300 or potentially even more in competitive auction settings. What really drives collectors wild about the wide AM variety is that it's definitively identifiable. There's no ambiguity or subjective interpretation required. Either the AM letters are separated or they're touching, which means that once you've learned what to look for, you can search through pennies quickly and confidently, making it possible to examine thousands of coins in a relatively short time. The psychology of searching for the 1996 D wide AM penny taps into the same dopamine-driven reward system that makes gambling addictive, except here the odds are actually in your favor if you're persistent, because while the variety is rare, new examples continue to be found regularly, proving that they're still out there in circulation, waiting in change jars, piggy banks, and coin rolls for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize them. Professional numismatists estimate that perhaps a few thousand 1996 D wide AM pennies were struck before the error was caught and corrected. But of those, many have been lost, damaged beyond collectability, or are sitting unrecognized in collections and accumulations, meaning that the number of authenticated, graded examples available to collectors is actually quite small, creating genuine scarcity that supports and drives the premium values. The market for this variety has matured significantly over the past 2 decades, with established price guides, auction records, and dealer networks all recognizing the 1996 D wide AM penny as a major modern rarity, which provides confidence to buyers that they're investing in something with genuine, sustainable value rather than a flash-in-the-pan fad that might collapse. Advanced collectors often seek multiple examples of the 1996 D wide AM penny at different grade levels, perhaps a circulated example for their variety set, an MS-64 or MS-65 for their main collection, and if budget allows, a premium MS-67 or higher as an investment piece, because diversification within a single variety allows them to enjoy the coin at different price points while building comprehensive holdings. The authentication process for the 1996 D wide AM penny is relatively straightforward compared to some other error varieties. Reputable grading services like PCGS and NGC have certified hundreds of examples. They know exactly what to look for, and their encapsulation provides both protection for the coin and confidence for buyers that they're getting a genuine article rather than a counterfeit or misattributed piece. What's particularly exciting about this variety is that it appeals to multiple collecting niches simultaneously. Date and mint mark collectors want it to complete their Lincoln Cent sets. Error and variety specialists need it for their error cabinets. Registry set collectors competing for the highest ranked sets must have top-grade examples. And even casual collectors are drawn to it because the story is simple and the visual difference is clear. The long-term investment potential of the 1996 D wide AM penny looks strong. As American coin collecting continues to grow globally, particularly in Asian markets where wealthy collectors are building world-class numismatic portfolios, demand for key American rarities including modern errors like this continues to expand, potentially driving values even higher in coming years. For someone just starting their search for valuable pennies, the 1996 D wide AM variety represents an ideal target. It's recent enough that examples still appear in circulation. It's distinctive enough that you won't need expert-level knowledge to identify it. It's valuable enough to make the search worthwhile, and it's well-established enough that you'll have a ready market when you're ready to sell. The educational value of pursuing this variety extends beyond just the coin itself. You'll learn about mint marks, die varieties, grading standards, authentication processes, market dynamics, and preservation techniques, essentially getting a complete education in numismatics while pursuing a single specific goal. Storage and preservation of a $4,300 penny obviously requires proper care. Certified graded coins should remain in their protective holders. Raw, uncertified examples should be placed in individual holders designed for coins with inert materials that won't react with the metal, and all specimens should be kept in stable environmental conditions away from temperature extremes, humidity, and airborne contaminants that could damage the surfaces. The sense of accomplishment that comes from finding a 1996 D wide AM penny cannot be overstated. It's the validation that your knowledge and persistence have paid off. It's the thrill of holding something worth thousands of dollars that you acquired for 1 cent. It's the satisfaction of joining an elite group of collectors who've made this discovery, and it's the excitement of deciding whether to keep it as a prized possession or sell it for life-changing money. Community celebration of major finds is one of the most rewarding aspects of error coin collecting. When you post your 1996 D-Wide-AM discovery to collecting forums or social media groups, you'll receive congratulations, authentication help, selling advice, and genuine excitement from fellow collectors who understand exactly how special your find is, creating connections and friendships built on shared passion. As we wrap up today's journey through these three incredible Lincoln pennies, I want you to remember that the 1979 penny at $3,500, the 1985 penny at $3,700, and this magnificent 1996 D penny at $4,300 all started as simple 1-cent coins that most people would spend without a second thought. But through mint errors, collector demand, and the passage of time, they've been transformed into genuine treasures that can change lives. The message here is clear: start checking your pennies, every single one, because you never know when that boring handful of change might contain a coin worth thousands of dollars. And unlike lottery tickets where the odds are astronomically against you, error coins are real, they're out there, and people find them every single day through nothing more than knowledge and persistence. So here's my challenge to you after watching this video: go through your change jar, your car's cup holder, that old piggy bank, anywhere you might have pennies accumulated, and start examining them carefully. Look for those 1979 filled die errors, those 1985 double dies, and especially those 1996 D-Wide-AM varieties, because finding even one of these coins would make your year. If you've enjoyed learning about these valuable pennies and you want to see more content about rare coins, error varieties, and numismatic treasures that could be hiding in your pocket change, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got notifications turned on so you never miss a video, because we're constantly uncovering new discoveries and sharing knowledge that could literally pay off for you. Thank you so much for watching the Coinlore Vault. Keep searching, keep learning, and remember that fortune truly does favor the observant. Happy hunting, everyone.